I am doing a non-typical episode, and I pray that I won't cough a lot. I just think it's a little more real and authentic when it reflects a snapshot into our lives sometimes. Well, for the last month, my youngest daughter has been quite sick and been in the hospital for 3 days, been back and forth to the doctors. And then just a few days later, our older two also got sick. And about 2 weeks into that, I was just terribly boasting of my awesome immune system, and my ego was alive and well. Not as like, I'm awesome, but actually probably a little bit. I just kept reassuring them I'd be fine. I could cuddle them, I could do all the things. But now, in hindsight, it makes me grateful for experiences that help us grow in empathy. And it's hard to be grateful right now because, as you can probably tell, I succumbed to it about 3 weeks into their getting sick, almost at the very tail end. And we're just lined up like sardines in my living room. Reminds me of like all on army cots, not saying anything, just like this out of body experience. Like screens hurt our eyes, lights hurt our eyes. Talking is like too hard. Just mental clarity just feels big. I did have COVID once that felt really, really terrible, almost like I was fading, like I could slip away. But that was quite short lived compared to this. I think for all three of them, it's been about a month of terrible, terrible body aches, massive sweating, and like cranial pressure that's just out of this world. So intense and constant coughing that makes the headaches even worse. Now, the reason I'm telling you all this is before that, after about a week, a typical amount of time for kids to lay low with a virus, I embarrassingly said, all right, it's time to start moving a little bit more because they don't really recommend bed rest anymore. You gotta move, and that's true. But I also didn't want to be so dark. I didn't want them to be so lethargic. Well, I did not know what I didn't know, and whatever your faith background, I think you can understand the story here. I was chastised. I was humbled for my ego, my pride, and it takes me back again to the atonement. Again, stay here with me if you don't have that faith base, because it can still apply, whether it's the universe or whatever it is. But whenever there's major suffering from somebody, how it opens up our hearts and makes us so much better able to serve in ways we never would have thought before. For example, all I want is really simple things. Like, I don't even know, something dropped off at the door to know that, like, people out there are still aware of me, or, and not anything big, super small. Or my water bottle filled up without me asking with cold water, or a wet rag for my forehead, or a basket of all the medicines right there next to me. And I'm not a medicine person, but this is so next level that, like, we could not function without them. Anyway, little tiny things that you can do to be available for other people. You can show that you care, where you don't have to come in and get this terrible virus, but you can still show up. I've had several friends that have gone out of their way to bring amazing meals and asked and followed through. And I had to humble myself and allow them to peek and focus on all those other things, temperatures and checking your oxygen, all those things to make sure we're not digressing for another doctor visit. Again, the point of all this, are we being humble? Are we setting aside our ego? Are we trying to put ourselves in the shoes of the suffering and really listening to them? And when we do go through trial, when we do go through something that's our Achilles heel. And let me tell you, bed rest is mine. I cannot do anything. I can't look at screens. I can't engage. I mostly, besides about 1 hour in the morning, am just semi-unconscious. And that is rough when I really value momentum and work ethic and being reliable and available. And I like becoming it's hard to feel like you're becoming when you're stationary on a cot for days on end, or in this case, a couch. I'm gonna turn it back to the atonement again. Helps me feel a greater affinity towards the Savior who descended below all things so that he could have full compassion. So whether that's illness or betrayal or financial hardship, whatever it might be, he completely understands in a way that we cannot know with all that compound pain. And I am grateful to rely on somebody that can comfort me and understand when I feel like few do right now. Especially as I look to each side and see my kids suffering too. We will get through this. It's hard to see the end in sight when it's my birthday week and we have more plans that I just keep canceling again and again that I've been so excited about. And yet, I know there's a bigger picture and I can let go. I can practice surrendering in a way I haven't recently with my amazing health. It's not a challenge I often have, but maybe it's time I experienced it a little bit to help me grow in empathy. And maybe it's the same for you. What are you experiencing that maybe is designed perfectly for you to become who you're meant to become? To smooth out those rough edges, to cause your light to shine even brighter, if you allow it to. And that's the kicker. I assure you, I'm not acing it most moments. There's whininess. I can be a less than amazing patient for my husband. And I have to practice patience every day as I see how long lasting it is for my kids that are still not recovering. Whatever your trial, whatever your personal battle right now, I invite you to look at it through another lens, to change the narrative. I don't know the full effects of how this trial is supposed to help me or my family, but I do know one reason is that so I could apologize to my children for pushing them too much when they felt terrible, for not listening to them, and to have greater and deeper empathy. That's all I have for today, my friends. I apologize for the slowness of my speech and the sickness. I'm just really grateful I didn't cough. I've had to really regulate my breathing. Until next time, I will probably be taking a break so I have a voice again next time. I will continue to have releases each week. So keep staying tuned. Take care, friends.